My father just told 20 family members I push papers in a Marine Corps office. What he doesn't know is I'm a combat decorated infantry officer who's led 3 deployments to Afghanistan. And my platoon sergeant is calling because half my unit is being deployed on emergency orders tonight. Subscribe to her mission stories for women who lead Marines in combat while their families think they work desk jobs. My name is Captain Rachel Anderson. I'm 33 years old, United States Marine Corps, infantry officer. Right now, I'm sitting at my parents' Thanksgiving table. 20 family members, turkey, stuffing, the whole traditional setup. My father just stood up to make a toast. He's telling everyone what his children do. My older brother Michael is a surgeon. My younger sister Jennifer is a corporate lawyer. Then he gets to me. Rachel works for the Marines. Administrative position, office work mostly. Nothing like what Michael and Jennifer do, but it keeps her busy. Everyone nods politely. Poor Rachel. Couldn't cut it in the real world. Settled for a government desk job. I grip my wine glass, say nothing. Because in exactly 4 minutes, my encrypted military phone is going to ring. Emergency deployment orders, and my father is about to discover what I actually do. Let me rewind to the beginning, the year 2015. I was 24 years old. Just graduated from the University of Virginia, degree in political science, 3.8 GPA. I could have gone to law school like Jennifer, could have applied to medical school like Michael. But I wanted something different. I wanted to serve. I walked into a Marine Corps recruiting office in Charlottesville. The recruiter, a staff sergeant with 2 rows of ribbons, looked at me skeptically. "You want to enlist?" "No, I want to be an officer." He raised an eyebrow. "Officer candidate school." That's a different conversation. Why the Marine Corps? Because it's the hardest. He smiled for the first time. That's the right answer. I applied for Officer Candidate School, OCS, 10 weeks at Quantico, Virginia, designed to break you. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Most people quit. The attrition rate was over 40%. My family's reaction when I told them was predictable. "The Marines," my father said, confused. "Rachel, you have a degree from UVA. You could do anything. Why would you join the military?" "To serve my country. You can serve in other ways. Public service. Non-profits. The military it's dangerous." That's the point, Dad. My mother was horrified. "Rachel, the Marines are combat troops. You could get killed. I'm aware of that, Mom." My brother Michael, who was in his surgical residency, shook his head. "This is insane. You're throwing away your potential." "I'm using my potential differently." My sister Jennifer, fresh out of law school, laughed. "You in the Marines?" "Rachel, you cried during Marley and Me. You can't handle boot camp." "It's not boot camp for officers. It's OCS, and I can handle it." She rolled her eyes. "Sure you can. I reported to OCS in June 2015. Day 1, they told us to look to our left and right. One of you won't be here in 10 weeks. They were being optimistic. The training was brutal. 4 a.m. wake-ups. Physical training that left us gasping. Endless hikes with heavy packs. Leadership evaluations under extreme stress. Academic classes. Combat training. Land navigation. First aid. And through it all, the drill instructor screaming. Testing us. Breaking us. I watched people quit. Strong people. Smart people. Athletes. They just couldn't take it. But I didn't quit. Every morning, when my body screamed at me to stop, I kept going. Every time a drill instructor got in my face, I stood my ground. Every time I thought I couldn't do another push-up, another mile, another evolution, I found a way. And in August 2015, I graduated. I was commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. My family attended the ceremony. They were proud. Sort of. After the ceremony, my father pulled me aside. Congratulations, Rachel. So what happens now? I go to the basic school. 6 months of training. Then I get my military occupational specialty. Your what? My job. Infantry, logistics, intelligence. Whatever they assign me based on my performance. He frowned. Infantry? Rachel, that's combat. Front lines, that's what I want, Dad. Why? Because that's where Marines lead from. The front. He sighed. This is a phase. You'll see that soon enough. It wasn't a phase. I reported to the basic school at Quantico in September 2015, TBS, where all Marine officers learn to be leaders. 6 months of intense training, tactics, weapons, leadership, combat skills. I excelled, particularly in tactics and leadership under fire. I was ranked in the top 10% of my class, which meant I got my choice of OMS. Military Occupational Specialty. I chose 0302. Infantry Officer, the hardest job in the Marine Corps. Combat Leadership, leading Marines in battle. My family was not supportive. When I told them at Christmas 2015, there was silence. Then my mother started crying. Infantry? Rachel, that means war. That means killing people. That means people trying to kill you. I know, Mom. Why would you choose that? Because someone has to. And I'm qualified. My father was angrier. This is ridiculous. You have so many options. You could transfer to a support role, intelligence, logistics, something safe. I don't want safe, Dad. I want to lead Marines. Michael shook his head. You're going to get yourself killed. Maybe, but I'm going to do my job first. Jennifer didn't say anything. She just looked at me like I was crazy. After TBS, I was assigned to Infantry Officer Course, IOC. 13 weeks of the most brutal training the Marine Corps offers. Learning to lead infantry Marines in combat. Small unit tactics, patrolling, ambushes, assaults, weapons systems, everything an infantry officer needs to know to keep Marines alive in combat. The attrition rate at IOC was even higher than OCS, over 50%. I was one of the first women to go through IOC after it opened to female officers. The scrutiny was intense. The media was watching. Other Marines were skeptical. Can women handle infantry? Can they lead men in combat? I didn't have time to care about the politics. I just focused on the training. And I graduated. Top 20% in my class. July 2016. I was now a qualified infantry officer, ready to lead Marines. I was assigned to 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines. 2/5, based at Camp Pendleton, California. I reported as a platoon commander, leading 40 Marines, most of them older than me, most of them combat veterans, all of them skeptical of the brand new female lieutenant. My platoon sergeant was a staff sergeant named Williams, 12 years in the Corps, 3 deployments, Purple Heart, Combat Action Ribbon. He didn't want me. He made that clear the first day. Ma'am, he said, his tone barely respectful, I've been doing this for 12 years. I've lost friends in combat. I don't need a lieutenant fresh out of school telling me how to do my job. I looked him in the eye. Staff Sergeant, I'm not here to tell you how to do your job. I'm here to lead this platoon. You have the experience. I have the rank. We're going to work together. And we're going to make this platoon the best in the battalion. He stared at me, then nodded once. Yes, ma'am. It wasn't respect. Not yet, but it was a start. Over the next 6 months, I proved myself. I out-hiked my Marines. I outshot most of them on the rifle range. I studied tactics obsessively. I learned their names, their families, their strengths, their weaknesses. I led from the front. Never asked them to do anything I wouldn't do first. And slowly, they started to respect me, even Staff Sergeant Williams. One day, after a brutal training exercise, he pulled me aside. Ma'am, I owe you an apology. For what, Staff Sergeant? I didn't think you could hack it. I was wrong. You're a solid officer. Thank you. Don't let it go to your head. You still have a lot to learn. I smiled. Roger that. In January 2017, we got the word. Deployment orders. Afghanistan, 7 months. Helmand Province. Combat zone. My first deployment, I called my family to tell them. My mother cried. My father was silent. Michael said, "This is insane." Jennifer said, "You're going to get killed." I said, "I'll be fine. This is my job." We deployed in March 2017. Helmand Province was exactly what I expected. Hot, dusty, dangerous. We were running patrols, security operations, training Afghan forces, and yes, combat. My first firefight happened 3 weeks into the deployment. We were on patrol in a village. Taliban opened fire from a compound. The sound was deafening. Bullets cracking overhead. Marines taking cover, returning fire. I remember thinking, this is it, this is real. I got on the radio, called for fire support, coordinated our maneuver. We flanked the compound, suppressed the enemy, called in air support. The A-10 came in low and fast. Brr. The sound of the GAU-8 Avenger, 7-barrel rotary cannon. The compound was destroyed. We moved in, cleared it. No friendly casualties. After the fight, Staff Sergeant Williams looked at me. "You good, ma'am?" "I'm good, Staff Sergeant. That was a good call. Flanking maneuver saved lives. Just doing my job." He smiled. "Keep doing it, ma'am." That deployment, we conducted over 100 patrols. We were in 13 firefights. We lost 1 Marine, Lance Corporal Rodriguez, IED. He was 20 years old. I wrote the letter to his family. Hardest thing I've ever done. But it's what infantry officers do. We came home in October 2017. I was promoted to first lieutenant. I was awarded the Combat Action Ribbon, and I was assigned as the executive officer of a rifle company. Second in command of over 100 Marines. My family greeted me at Camp Pendleton when we returned. They hugged me, told me they were proud. But I could see it in their eyes. They didn't understand. At Thanksgiving that year, my father asked, "So, now that you've done a deployment, are you going to transition out? Use your GI Bill? Go to grad school?" "No, Dad, I'm staying in." "For how long?" "As long as the Marine Corps will have me." He frowned. "Rachel, this isn't a career. This is dangerous. It's exactly a career. And yes, it's dangerous. That's the job." Michael chimed in. "You're wasting your potential. I'm using my potential to lead Marines." Jennifer said, "You're not even making good money. I make enough." They didn't get it, and I stopped trying to make them understand. In 2018, I deployed again. This time to Syria. Different mission. Same danger. I was now a company executive officer. More responsibility. More Marines to take care of. We were conducting counter-ISIS operations, direct action missions, raids, ambushes, supporting Kurdish forces. It was intense. We spent 6 months in the desert, living in tents, eating MREs, conducting operations every night. I led missions personally, planned them, executed them, brought every Marine home. For that deployment, I was awarded a Bronze Star and recommended for early promotion to captain. When I came home, my family threw a welcome home dinner. My father asked the same question. "Now, will you get out?" "No, Dad. This is getting ridiculous, Rachel. This is my career." In 2019, I was promoted to captain. I was 28 years old. I was assigned as a rifle company commander, in command of 150 Marines, responsible for their training, their welfare, their lives. It was the best job I'd ever had, and in 2020, I deployed a 3rd time. Afghanistan again, this time as a commander, leading my company in combat operations. We were in Kandahar province, conducting security operations, training Afghan commandos, and fighting Taliban. That deployment, we conducted over 200 combat operations. We were in contact with the enemy dozens of times. We lost 2 Marines, Corporal Martinez and Lance Corporal Kim. I wrote letters to both families. I spoke at their memorial services, and I carried their memories every single day. For my leadership during that deployment, I was awarded the Bronze Star with Valor Device. For actions under fire, for keeping my Marines alive, for completing the mission. I came home in March 2021, and my family still didn't understand what I did. At Easter dinner, my father introduced me to a business associate. This is my daughter, Rachel. She works for the Marines. Administrative role, office work. I didn't correct him. What was the point? Over the next 2 years, I continued to serve. I trained my Marines. I planned operations. I prepared for the next deployment. And my family continued to think I pushed paper. At Christmas 2022, Jennifer asked, "So what exactly do you do?" "I'm a Marine infantry officer." "I know, but what does that mean? Like, day to day?" "I train Marines for combat. I lead them in operations. I keep them alive." She looked confused. "But like, are you in combat?" "Yes, Jennifer. I've been in combat dozens of times." "Oh, wow. I had no idea." "I've told you many times. I guess I just didn't realize. No one did, because they didn't want to know. It was easier for them to think I had a safe desk job. And then came this Thanksgiving. My father invited the extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone asking what we do. Michael talked about his surgery practice. Jennifer talked about her corporate law firm. And my father said I push paper in an office. That's when my phone started buzzing. The first buzz was a text, encrypted military messaging. I glanced at my phone under the table. Priority message. "Captain Turensen, respond immediately." I excused myself from the table, walked outside, called my battalion operations officer. "Captain Anderson, Mom, this is Major Harris. We have a situation." "Go ahead, sir." "Emergency deployment orders just came down from division. Half the battalion is deploying to an undisclosed location. 72-hour notice. Your company is on the list." "When?" "Wheels up Sunday morning, 0600. That's 2 days from now." "Correct. We need all company commanders back on base tonight for mission brief." "How soon can you get here?" I looked back at my parents' house. Through the window I could see my family, eating, laughing, oblivious. "I can be there in 4 hours, sir. Make it 3. "This is time sensitive." "Yes, sir." I hung up, walked back inside. My father was in the middle of a story. And then I told the board, if you can't handle the risk, you don't deserve the reward. Everyone laughed. I walked to the table. "Dad, I need to leave." "What? Now? We haven't even had dessert. I have to get back to base. Emergency situation." He frowned. "Can't someone else handle it? It's Thanksgiving." "No, Dad. I'm the commander. I have to be there." "Commander?" my uncle asked. "Commander of what?" I looked at my father. "You want to tell them, Dad, or should I?" He looked uncomfortable. "Rachel works for the Marines." I stepped forward. "I'm a captain in the United States Marine Corps. I command a rifle company, Alpha Company, 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines. And half my unit just got emergency deployment orders. I need to leave now." The room went silent. My aunt spoke first. "You're in the Marines?" "Like, actual Marines?" "Yes. But your father said you work in an office." I looked at my father. "He did say that, didn't he?" My father stood up. "Rachel, I didn't mean..." "Didn't mean what, Dad?" "Didn't mean to tell everyone I have a desk job. Didn't mean to diminish what I do. I just thought, you thought it was easier to tell people I push paper than to admit your daughter is an infantry officer who's deployed to combat zones 3 times." The room was completely silent now. Michael spoke up. "Rachel, we didn't know." "Yes, you did. I've told you. Many times, you just didn't want to hear it. My phone rang. I answered. Captain Anderson. Ma'am, this is Staff Sergeant Williams. The company is mobilizing. When will you be on deck? 3 hours, Staff Sergeant. Is everyone accounted for? All except Second Lieutenant Parker. He's in Colorado. Flying back tonight. Good. Start the pre-deployment checklist. I'll be there to brief the NCOs at 2100. Roger, ma'am. See you then. I hung up. Looked at my family. I have to go. My mother stood up. Rachel, wait. We need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about, Mom. I have a job to do, but you just got here, and now I'm leaving. That's what happens when you're in the military. I walked to the door. My father followed me. Rachel, I'm sorry. I should have been more honest about what you do. You should have been proud, Dad. That's what you should have been. I am proud. Are you? Because for 7 years you've introduced me as the daughter who works in an office. You've compared me to Michael and Jennifer like I'm the disappointment. You've never once asked me about my deployments, my Marines, my missions. He looked at the ground. I didn't know how to talk about it. You could have just listened. I grabbed my coat. Wait, my mother said. When will we see you again? I don't know, Mom. We're deploying. Could be 6 months. Could be a year. Where are you going? I can't tell you that. Is it dangerous? It's always dangerous. She started crying. My father put his hand on my shoulder. Be safe, Rachel. I will. And I walked out, got in my car, started driving, 4 hours to Camp Pendleton. I called Staff Sergeant Williams. He answered immediately. Ma'am, give me a status update. We have 87 Marines accounted for. 63 are already on base. The rest are en route. Surgeons are conducting pre-deployment gear checks. We should be fully assembled by 2200. Outstanding. What's the scuttlebutt on the mission? Word is Middle East. Possible Iran situation. But nothing confirmed. Roger. Keep the Marines focused. No speculation. We'll get the official brief tonight. Yes, ma'am. How are the junior Marines handling it? Some are nervous. First deployment for a lot of them. Make sure the team leaders are keeping them busy. Nervous Marines need tasks. Already on it, ma'am. Good work, Staff Sergeant. Just doing my job, ma'am. I smiled. See you in a few hours. I hung up. Drove in silence for a while. Thought about my family. About my father's face when I corrected him. About my mother's tears. About Michael and Jennifer's shocked expressions. Part of me felt bad, but most of me felt relieved. Finally, they knew. Finally, they understood. I wasn't the disappointing daughter. I was a Marine infantry officer, a combat leader. And I had Marines who needed me. I arrived at Camp Pendleton at 20:30 hours, 8:30 p.m. The base was buzzing with activity, Marines everywhere. Loading gear, checking weapons, saying goodbye to families. I drove straight to the company area. My Marines were assembled, 87 of them. When I walked in, Staff Sergeant Williams called out, "Officer on deck." The Marines snapped to attention. I looked at them. My company, my responsibility. Carry on, I said. They relaxed. I walked to the front of the room. All right, Marines. I know this is sudden. I know it's Thanksgiving weekend. I know some of you were with your families. But we have a mission, and we're going to execute it professionally. I paused. We don't have all the details yet. But here's what I know. We're deploying soon. Likely Middle East, and we're going because the Marine Corps needs us, because our nation needs us. I looked around the room. Young faces, scared faces, determined faces. Over the next 48 hours, we're going to prepare. We're going to train. We're going to make sure every Marine in this company is ready. And then we're going to do our job. I let that sink in. Staff Sergeant Williams' report. Ma'am, all platoons are conducting gear checks. Weapons are being drawn from the armory. Medical is updating shot records. Admin is processing wills and powers of attorney. Outstanding. Continue. Yes, ma'am. I turn back to the Marines. Get some rest tonight. Tomorrow starts early. Dismissed. They dispersed. I walked to the company office. My company gunnery sergeant, Gunny Martinez, was waiting. Skipper, he said. Good to have you back. Good to be back, Gunny. What's the real status? Honest? We're in good shape. Most Marines are experienced. We have a solid NCO core. Gear is maintained. We can be ready. Confidence is good. What are the weak points? 2nd Platoon has 8 new Marines, straight from infantry training, never deployed. All right. Pair them with experienced team leaders. I want a veteran mentoring each one. Already done, ma'am. I smiled. That's why you're the gunny. Just staying ahead of you, ma'am. At 2200 hours, I attended the battalion commander's brief. All company commanders were there. Lieutenant Colonel Davis stood at the front. Gentleman and lady, he nodded at me. Here's the situation. Iranian-backed militia groups have been conducting attacks on U.S. interests in Iraq. The situation is escalating. We're deploying as a crisis response force. Mission: protect American personnel and facilities. Possible direct action operations against hostile forces. He pulled up a map. We'll be based here, Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq. We deploy Sunday. Mission duration unknown. Could be 3 months. Could be 9. Questions? I raised my hand. Rules of engagement, sir. Standard ROE for defensive operations. You can defend yourselves and assigned personnel. Offensive operations will require approval from higher. Understood, sir. He looked at all of us. This is real. This is why we train. Take care of your Marines. Bring them home. Dismissed. We spent the next 2 days in constant preparation. Gear checks, live fire ranges, medical screenings, final briefs. I barely slept. Neither did my Marines. On Saturday afternoon, my phone rang. It was my mother. Rachel? Hi, Mom. I wanted to call before you left. Are you okay? I'm fine, Mom. Busy, but fine. Your father feels terrible. He should. Rachel. Mom, I don't have time for this. I deploy tomorrow. I have 100 things to do. I know. I just wanted to say, be safe. Please. I will, Mom. And Rachel? Yeah? I'm proud of you. I don't say it enough, but I am. I felt my throat tighten. Thanks, Mom. Come home safe. I'll do my best. I hung up, took a breath, then got back to work. Sunday morning, 0400 hours, 4 a.m. The company was assembled on the flight line, gear staged, weapons secured, Marines in formation. I walked down the line, looked at each face. These were my Marines, my responsibility. At 0600, we loaded onto the C-17, the massive cargo aircraft. We strapped in, the engines roared, and we took off. Destination, Iraq. Mission: protect American lives. Duration unknown. As we flew over the Pacific, I thought about my family, my father's face, my mother's tears, Michael's disbelief, Jennifer's shock. They finally knew. But I didn't have time to dwell on it, because I had Marines to lead and a mission to complete. We arrived in Iraq 22 hours later. Al-Assad Air Base. Hot, dusty, familiar. I'd been here before. On my first deployment, we unloaded, drew weapons, got our area assignments. That night I briefed my Marines. All right, Alpha Company, here's our mission. We are responsible for security of the northeastern sector. That includes 2 entry control points, perimeter towers, and a patrol zone outside the wire. We will run 24-hour operations. Shifts will rotate every 12 hours. I looked at my platoon commanders. 1st Platoon has towers. 2nd Platoon has entry control points. 3rd Platoon has QRF, Quick Reaction Force. If something happens, you respond. Weapons Platoon supports all. Questions? Lieutenant Parker, my youngest platoon commander, raised his hand. Ma'am, what's the actual threat level? Intel indicates likely indirect fire, mortars, rockets, possible VBIED attempts on the gates, and potential for coordinated ground attack. He looked nervous. I continued. We train for this. We're prepared. Follow your training. Trust your NCOs. Stay alert. You'll be fine. He nodded. Yes, ma'am. For the first 2 weeks, it was quiet. Routine patrols, guard shifts, maintenance. Then on day 15, it happened. I was in the operations center when the alarm sounded. Incoming! Incoming! The distinctive whistle of a rocket. Impact somewhere in the base. Then another, and another. 12 rockets total. 3 impacted near the chow hall. 1 hit a vehicle depot. The rest landed in open ground. I grabbed my gear, ran to the operations center. My battalion commander was already there. Captain Anderson, he said. One of the rockets hit near your company area. Check your Marines. Yes, sir. I sprinted to our sector. Found Staff Sergeant Williams. Casualties, 2 wounded, shrapnel. Already being treated. Names, Lance Corporal Chin and PFC Rodriguez. How bad? Chin took shrapnel to the leg. Rodriguez to the arm. Both stable. Already at the aid station. All right. Get accountability of everyone else. Already done, ma'am. Everyone else is green. Good work. We spend the next hour securing the area, searching for unexploded ordnance, reinforcing positions. I visited Chen and Rodriguez at the aid station. They were bandaged up. Both would be fine. You good, Marines? Yes, ma'am, Chen said. Just a scratch. That was more than a scratch, Lance Corporal. I've had worse in training, ma'am, I smiled. Glad you're okay. Rodriguez spoke up. Ma'am, when can we get back to our posts? Not until medical clears you. But that's an order, Rodriguez. Yes, ma'am. After that attack, the tempo increased. More rockets, more mortars, probing attacks on our perimeters. We responded with defensive fires, counter battery, airstrikes. We didn't lose anyone, but it was close several times. On day 43, I was leading a patrol outside the wire. We were checking on a local village, building relationships, gathering intel. Halfway through the patrol, we got ambushed. Small arms fire from a tree line, RPGs, heavy volume. My Marines immediately took cover, returned fire. I got on the radio. Raptor 6, this is Raptor 1. Contact East, squad-sized element. Request close air support. Raptor 1. Raptor 6. CAS is 10 mics out. Can you hold? Affirm. We're engaging. I looked at my platoon sergeant. Suppressive fire on that tree line. Get the saw up. Already on it, ma'am. The squad automatic weapon opened up. Burrap, burrap. Long bursts. Keeping the enemy's heads down. I maneuvered 2 fire teams to flank. They moved under covering fire, got into position. Then I heard it. The A-10, Thunderbolt 2, close air support. The pilot came over the radio. Raptor 1, Warthog 2-1. I have eyes on your position. Targets identified. Cleared hot, I confirmed. The A-10 made its run. Brr. I had the sound of the Ga-U-8. 30mm cannon. The tree line exploded. The enemy fire stopped. We moved up, cleared the area, found 5 enemy KIA, weapons, ammunition, intel materials. No friendly casualties. Mission success. When we got back to base, my battalion commander called me in. Captain Anderson, that was textbook. Good work. Thank you, sir. Your Marines performed well. They always do, sir. Keep it up. For that action, I was recommended for another award. But I didn't care about awards. I cared that every Marine came home. We spent 4 more months in Iraq, total of 6 months deployed. We conducted over 300 combat operations. We were in contact with the enemy 47 times. We didn't lose a single Marine. Not one. That's what I was most proud of. In May, we got the word. We were going home. When we landed back at Camp Pendleton, families were waiting. Wives, husbands, children, parents, holding signs, crying, cheering. My Marines reunited with their loved ones. I stood to the side, watching, happy for them. Then I saw them, my family, my father, my mother, Michael, Jennifer, standing in the back, holding a sign. Welcome you home, Captain Anderson. I walked over. My mother hugged me immediately. You're home, you're safe. I'm home, Mom. My father stepped forward. Rachel, He didn't finish. He just hugged me. For the first time in years, he really hugged me. When he pulled back, his eyes were wet. I'm so sorry. I know, Dad. I've spent the last 6 months reading about what you do, learning about the Marine Corps, about infantry officers, about what you've accomplished. He pulled out his phone, showed me articles he'd saved, photos, news stories about our deployment. I even found this. He showed me a photo. It was me, in Iraq, leading a patrol. Someone had taken it and posted it online. Where did you find that? Your Marines post things, social media. I've been following them, learning about my daughter. I didn't know what to say. Michael stepped forward. Rachel, I was wrong about everything. What you do is incredible. Thanks, Michael. Jennifer hugged me. You're a badass, she whispered. I laughed. Thanks, Jen. Over the next few weeks, my family asked questions, real questions, about my job, my Marines, my deployments. They listened, really listened. For the first time, my father asked if he could attend a change of command ceremony. I was passing command of Alpha Company to another captain. It's a big deal in the Marine Corps. Of course you can come, Dad. The ceremony was beautiful, full dress uniforms, speeches, tradition. When it was my turn to speak, I looked at my Marines. Serving as your commander has been the greatest honor of my life. You are the finest Marines I've ever known. Take care of each other. Semper Fi. They responded in unison. Semper Fi, ma'am. After the ceremony, my father approached Staff Sergeant Williams. Staff Sergeant, my father said, I wanted to thank you. For what, sir? For taking care of my daughter. Williams smiled. Sir, with respect, your daughter took care of us. She's one of the best officers I've served under. My father looked at me, pride in his eyes, real pride. 6 months later, I was promoted to major. The ceremony was at Camp Pendleton. My entire family attended. When the commanding general pinned the gold oak leaves on my collar, my father stood and saluted. He'd never served, but he saluted anyway. After the ceremony, a young girl approached me. She was maybe 12. Are you really a Marine? I am. And you've been to war? Yes, that's so cool. I want to be a Marine when I grow up. Then study hard. Stay fit. And never let anyone tell you you can't. She smiled. Can I take a picture with you? Of course. Her father took the photo. As they walked away, I heard her say, I'm going to be just like her. My father was standing next to me. He'd heard it too. That's why you do this, isn't it? I looked at him. Yeah, Dad, that's why. He put his arm around me. I'm sorry it took me so long to understand. Better late than never. I'm proud of you, Rachel. I tell everyone now. My daughter, the Marine Major. I smiled. Thanks, Dad. Today my family knows who I am. They know what I do. They can't know all the details. Most of my operations are classified, but they know I'm not pushing papers. They know I'm a Marine infantry officer, a combat leader, and they're proud. My father tells everyone. My mother brags to her friends. Michael calls me his hero, and Jennifer introduces me as her badass sister. I don't need their approval anymore. I never really did. But I won't lie, it feels good. Subscribe to our mission stories for tales of women who lead in combat while being dismissed at home. You are not alone. Your service matters. And one day, they'll see you too. Semper Fidelis.